Hello, welcome once again to this channel of the Better Eurofan. That's me. For today's episode, I'm going to review the Ukrainian entry for Eurovision 2022, which has been represented by the group Kalush Orchestra with the song Stefania, after the folk and modern performance of the band Go Away in last year's contest, in which they have achieved a respectable 5th place. Ukraine moves forward with its participation with a track record desirable for many, being the only country as of today that has always qualified to the grand final, and having 2 victories in the 16 times the country has participated. Having said this, let's take a look at the artists who had the task to representing the Slavic nation on touring. For the artist profile, this time I will do it in 2 parts. First, there is just Kalush, a Ukrainian rap group formed in 2019. The trio is composed currently by rapper Oleksiuk, multi-instrumentalist Iho Didenchuk, which is also a member of the group Go Away, and breakdancer Black Kuroshka as MC Killiman, which can be literally translated to Capman, then you can understand why. The group takes its name from the city of Kalush, which is Ole's hometown. After releasing independently their first 2 singles, they signed a record deal with a renowned American hip-hop label. They have 2 studio albums today, both of them released just last year. Then, the very same last year, they announced the launch of their side project Kalush Orchestra, which focuses on hip-hop with folk motifs blended with Ukrainian traditional music. In this case, the core members were joined by vocalist and multi-instrumentalist Timofey Musichuk, multi-instrumentalist Vitaly Dushik, and backing vocalist Alexander Slobodianik as Sashatab. Now let's review the timeline of the band in an Eurovision experience like no other artist had in the contest. You will figure it out later why. The Ukrainian public broadcaster went on to organize the 6th edition of its national final, named Eurovision Nationalny Vybory, known simply as Vybory, to select the Ukrainian representative for the contest. For this, a submission period was open for Ukrainian artists and songwriters to send their proposals between mid-December of last year and mid-January. It comes to attention that one of the rules to participate is that the artist has not had performed in Russia since 2014, and also has not entered to Crimea without the permission of the Ukrainian authorities. This due for the Russian-Ukrainian conflict for the disputed region, and after the controversy happened with Barut's victory in the national final 3 years before, forcing the country to withdraw from the contest. After not achieving a contract deal, neither with her nor the other finalists. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. An expert panel was in charge on reviewing the 284 proposals received by the broadcaster, long-listing 27, which were announced with their respective performers shortly after the deadline. There was an important change this time, as unlike previous years there will be no semifinals for this edition. Instead, the 27 long-listed artists will have live auditions, in order to select the 8 artists that will finally compete in the national final, announcing them in late last January, and being Kalush Orchestra among the selected artists. In the televised show, which took place in mid-February, the winner will be determined with the combination of the votes of the jury and the public, after the performances of all the finalists. The voting results revealed that who got the required score and thus the victory was the singer Alina Pash, with Kalush Orchestra as runner-up with just 1 point below. Now you must be wondering for sure what just had happened here. I don't get it. Listen carefully as I'm going to comment the Euro drama of the season, something that now seems to be usual in the Ukrainian national finals. After Alina Pash's victory, the band accused the broadcaster of falsifying the result, taking into account the technical difficulties happened during the live broadcast, and being them the absolute favorites from the teleboard with a wide margin. However, both the broadcaster and the audit partner maintained the validity of the results, stating that the technical difficulties suffered in the final show had no impact in the final result. But the drama does not end there. A few days later at the final show, a post in the social media platform BK surfaced, where Timofey is is portrayed in Moscow in front of St. Basil's Cathedral, dated from 2015, implying that he would have broken one of the main rules of the national final. The group's management stated that the picture was taken in 2013, when he traveled to Russia to perform in concerts in both Moscow and Krasnodar, being the last time he was at the country. And if it wasn't not enough, the most shocking part of the story now is coming. In the following days after the final show, there were allegations that Alina Pash entered Crimea from Russian territory in 2015 and counterfeited her travel documentation with her team in order to take part in the national final. The broadcaster subsequently stated that they will halt the selection of Alina as the Ukrainian representative until the verification and clarification of the facts is completed, and also requesting the Ukrainian State Bodyguard Service to verify the travel documentation. The single's producer initially denied the accusations, stating that she entered the Crimea from Ukrainian territory, and then Alina herself had requested a new certificate of the State Bodyguard Service to prove the statement. However, the State Bodyguard Service have stated that they were not able to provide her a new certificate, since related records are only kept for 5 years. Not being able to do anything else on the matter, she will finally announce the withdrawal of her candidacy for the contest, so her victory got stained because of the controversy. And meanwhile, many were discussing if she was innocent or guilty. 4 months later, Alina herself finally have admitted that she forged the travel documentation to participate in the national final, apologizing for her actions and decisions. The truth is that it sounds like a fictional story. This could be the script for a drama movie. After Alina's disqualification as the country's representative, the Ukrainian public broadcaster announced that they will select a representative from one of the finalists that competed in the national final. In this case, Kalush Orchestra were offered a choice proposal as the runner-up, although they demanded the release of the detailed results before making a decision about the offer. Finally, with the release of the full results, the band ultimately would accept the offer, becoming the Ukrainian representatives that will travel to Turin. A feminist proposal, this time in a very serious background actually. Now here comes the analysis according to what they have presented in their official music video. In fact, talking about the music video, it's remarkable to say that by the time during the national final, the band did not have a music video for their entry, so their live performance in the aforementioned national final was serving, and still serves, as the official music video in Eurovision's official YouTube channel. But later, the band went on to produce and release the official music video one day after the grand final, which is the one that I'm going to analyze shortly. The melody in this case blends alternative hip-hop with Ukrainian folk music, following a very simple melodic structure, about the voices while the verses are declaimed by Oleg. The chorus are sung by Timothy and Sashata. Reading the lyrics, previously translated of course, is described as an ode to a mother, particularly dedicated to Oleg's mother, who is also named Stefania. Initially, it talks about how his mother has aged, invoking a nostalgic past. Then later, he addresses the hardships of his mother during her life, reflecting about how much his mother has done for him. The lullaby within the end of each rap verse brings him back to those times where his mother took care of him. The message of the song speaks by itself just reading the lyrics. The love for a mother is a universal feeling that can be expressed in many ways. Detaching the official music video, I can say this is the most realistic of all the music videos seen for the edition, as it directly addresses the ongoing war in the country. It's remarkable in this case that the lyrics are subtitled in English throughout the music video, with the main goal that the viewer can easily understand what are the lyrics about. In the first shots, a residential area is seen with one of the buildings destroyed by a missile, where there is heavy rubble and 3 branches on fire. There are alternate shots of some of the members of the band in the middle of the rubble, and a soldier carrying a child in arms. verse. Ole performs the first verse inside a destroyed building, while shots of soldiers carrying children in arms are seen, and just before the chorus is seen that the soldiers are women. This dynamic is repeated during the chorus and the second verse. It's understood that the soldier women are rescuing and taking out the children from the destroyed areas by the Russian army. In the second chorus, you can see that the soldier women are arriving with the children to many places, where a shelter, a train station, and a church are seen, to bring them back with their parents and go forward with their mission. Later, there are close-ups of the soldier women taking up their hairbats, sometimes not being able to contain the tears in their eyes. And towards the end of the music video, a destroyed Russian tank in flames is seen, and a little girl holding a Molotov cocktail in her hand. A few final phrases appear after the song finishes. This video was filmed in Bucha, Irpin, Borodianka, and Hostomel, cities near Kiev that suffered the horrors of the Russian occupation. Dedicated to the brave Ukrainian people, to the mothers protecting their children, to all those who gave their lives for our freedom. Every man, every woman, every innocent child. The war in Ukraine has multiple faces. It's our mother's face that keeps our hearts alive in the darkest times. Making a summary of all the comments, the Ukrainian entry for this year is quite normal. Personally, I do not like it, but I do not dislike it either. It's particular because of the fact that it's not common to listen feminist songs in the hip-hop genre, but with the ongoing armed conflict, it has a deeper meaning. It's important to remark that the entry has had a turning point. After its selection, the song was not among the favorites to win the contest, but being a really distinctive proposal from the other ones of the edition, there was a probability it could be one of the finalists, reaching a modest position in the ranking. But with the outbreak of the war between Russia and Ukraine, things drastically changed. The song suddenly went on to be one of the big favorites to get the Crystal Microphone trophy on Italian soil, which reminds a little what happened in the 2016 edition held in Stockholm, Sweden with Jamala's victory. Recalling the staging in the national final is based on them doing the performance with a lot of movement through all the stage, as commonly seen in the genre. Typical flower patterns from Ukrainian traditional costumes are seen in the visual graphics, and a couple of props as the only prop. All of them are wearing traditional costumes with an urban and modern touch, while Igor and Vitaly look like characters come from the swamp. About the performance, many things can be remarked. Ole's declamation was okay, but Timothy's voice was added to many times. Then, during the parts before the chorus when the word lullaby is said in Ukrainian, almost all of the members swings to the sides, making allusion to the lullaby itself. And almost at the end of the performance, MC Killiman had his moment doing the breakdance in the front of the stage. There was some uncertainty as to whether Kalush Orchestra would finally be able to compete, as with the outbreak of the war, all men in the military age should stay in the country to fight in the battlefield, and they were not the exception in this case. However, sometime later, both the Ukrainian public broadcaster and the band confirmed that they were given permission from the Ukrainian government to attend the contest in Turin and also take part in promotional events across Europe, including Eurovision parties to raise donations for war relief efforts. Even so, they will have had not very much time to prepare for the contest, as they could not have rehearsed together in a long time, so having the proposal ready would have been a race against the clock for them. For the staging in Turin, during the rehearsals it could be seen that the members of the band will be a little more organized in the stage during the performance, discarding the carpeted box this time. The flower patterns seen in the national final are used again in this case during the second verse, and when the silhouettes of themselves outline on the floor when they do the lullaby before the chorus. Also in the visual graphics there is a close-up of a mother's eyes. In blind she could be Oleg's mother, while spotlights in yellow and blue tones are seen, sometimes in red tones. It's remarkable to say that Timothy's voice was quite much better compared to the national final, being a significant and needed improvement for the performance. About the costumes, all of them wore the same outfits from the national final, and particularly the Swan Men outfits of Ihor and Vitaly were better made this time, looking like a giant multicolored sponges of a car wash. Watching their live performance in the first semi-final, more details were seen. At the beginning, the visual graphics showcased a sunrise matching with the yellow and blue spotlights. Then, during the close-up of the mother's eyes in the chorus, she's looking tearful. There is a moment when she closes her eyes and tears start to fall, becoming yellow trails falling from the main screen to the floor screen. This has a very particular symbolism and is very impactful, representing in this case to all the mothers that are suffering the consequences of the war. Towards the end of the performance, the breakdance of MC Gilliman is more energetic compared to the national final, in which the mother's hands appeared, symbolizing that protection each mother wants to give to her children, finishing the performance with the spotlights resembling the Ukrainian flag, and it couldn't be in another way. This was a quite well done performance this time, which granted them the qualification to the finals. Then later, in the grand final, with the counting of the votes, it could be seen that they received a very good score from the juries, reaching the 4th place of the ranking at first. Thus the competition was quite fierce, although everything could change the blink of an eye. Just later, after the reveal of the votes received by the public, it was seen a numbers of points as never seen before in the competition, reaching the 1st place subsequently, and finally gaining the victory in the contest on tour. Against all odds, Ukraine achieved its 3rd victory at Eurovision, remarking many facts from this result. First, the band broke the record for the most absolute points received in a final for a Ukrainian artist, being also the artist with the highest number of points received from the televote like no other in the history of the contest. It's the first winning song with rap lyrics. It's also the first winning song performed fully in Ukrainian, and as well the first winning song in the hip-hop genre. After their victory in the contest, the band announced that they will put their crystal microphone trophy up for auction to raise money for the Ukrainian army forces. They subsequently embarked on a promotional tour across Europe and North America to raise awareness and donations for financial help to the victims of the war. Into their musical career, they have recently made a collaboration with the mythical Finnish band Rasmus, which also were the Finnish representatives in this year's edition, to release a very particular version of their smash hit In the Shadows, blending the original rock style of the song with Ukrainian folk music and hip-hop, named as In the Shadows of Ukraine. In this case, there is an additional song verse and a rapped one, performed both in Ukrainian, preserving the original English lyrics of the song. As a final reflection, personally I think that the Ukrainian entry has been overrated, and mostly because of the situation of the country at the time of the contest. I thought of it maybe in a modest position among the finalists, but never thought of it as a potential winner. In this sense, there are many opinions about it, affirming that if it was not for the armed conflict in the country, without underestimating in any moment the horror and the suffering of the people there to make it clear, the result would be quite different, and another entry would have been the winner. I had commented before about the sudden favoritism that surrounded the Ukrainian entry after the outbreak of the war, but anyone is free to make their own conclusions and thoughts in the matter. And you, what do you think about the Ukrainian entry for this year? Leave your comments here down below to keep the discussion for the winning entry for this edition. And this is it for today's episode. With the winning country for this year, we've finished this series having reviewed the 40 artists who have participated in the edition held on touring last May. What is coming from the next episode? Stay tuned because you will know it very shortly. For now, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, enable notifications and follow me in my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.